Welcome back, everyone. I'm the Depressed Eeyore, and this is Middara. I went ahead and posted the question about the aggro token on Discord, and we'll see if we get a response. Either way, it wouldn't have made a difference. The Gavadan would have moved closer and then just been wrecked, so it didn't really hurt me. It didn't give me an advantage, nor did it really hurt me. So I'm going to go ahead and clear everything off the board. I did do some shuffling since we did get a refresh. I went ahead and passed some stuff around. I gave Zeke the majority of the throwing knives and took them off of Remy. I went and gave Remy the MF Fortitude since she tends to burn SP pretty often due to her flight ability. And went ahead and gave the other throwing knife, the third throwing knife that we have remaining, to Nightingale. And then I kind of distributed the magic bombs to everyone but Zeke. So that's kind of what we got so far. Anyway, let's go ahead and read the dialogue here and continue on. Poor doggy. Remy stared down at the slain Gavadan. I don't suppose anyone has a shovel. I feel like we should bury it. She couldn't help her wings from drooping a little, no matter how excited the rest of her friends were at their victory. Nightingale rose from where she had been rinsing her hands in the dark water. I don't think you can dig a grave in a stone floor. I guess, Remy said. I wish they weren't so murdery. Looks so much like a dog. You expected to act like one. But we're not on Earth anymore. Remy turned, leaving the Gavadan's corpse behind. You have pets, Remy? Zeke asked. Let me guess. Cat, right? Yeah, how'd you know? Remy said, surprised. You look like a cat person. I bet you had a dozen, Zeke said, poking her in the shoulder playfully. Remy folded her arms, glaring. Only one. Zeke laughed and lit a cigarette. Continue to the second night, page 13. So here's page 13. Okay, second night. That night, they found another small chamber off the main path, just barely big enough for the four of them to make camp. Nightingale volunteered for scouting duty this time. It was nice to have something mindless to do. It was like all housekeeping she'd done back in her family's little motel on Earth, rocking from room to room with headphones in. Nightingale happened to be passing by the entrance of a nearby chamber when she caught a flicker of light from just outside. She stepped outside, waving in the direction of the approaching light. Hello? She grinned, drawing her weapon. The light was growing quickly down from a direction they hadn't explored yet. Nightingale gripped her weapon tightly, preparing for a fight. Another few seconds, and the light and footsteps resolved into a man, stooped with the weight of a heavy sack. His armor was tattered, and he walked with a slight limp. In the faint light of his glowstone, the thin man looked triumphant. Oh, she lowered the weapon, striding casually into the hallway in front of him. Thought you were a monster. Nah, the man said, pointing back to the way he came. Our group just killed a tomb guardian back there. The thing was loaded with too much loot for us to carry. This is my second trip. Looks like we're doing better than royalty. Nightingale's smile faded. Oh yeah? She said, considering her options. And this is one of the points where you can actually pick an option. Like I mentioned before, with the skill check, this is kind of the only option I've ever encountered during the story bits. So, not sure if that's going to change as you progress, but as far as I've seen, this is the only time I've actually had to make a decision here. Nightingale must make a decision. Extort the man for his extra loot. He was rude, and he also doesn't need it. Let the man pass unharassed. After all, he earned it. I honestly don't need any extra loot at this point. And quite frankly, this is a test and there are people watching, so no matter what sort of person you may think Nightingale is, I don't think she's that stupid to try to shake someone down in the middle of a test. And quite frankly, we don't need the extra loot. We're just that awesome, really. So, not really sure what happens when you extort the extra loot, but I have yet to pick it. Let the man pass unharassed. After all, he earned it. Continue to step aside, page 13, which is the same page. Step aside. Nightingale figured she couldn't just take his stuff. The man shoved his way past her, causing her to stumble. This swag's mine, he said with a haughty laugh. We fought the Guardian. We got the loot. You're the princess. You got to be way better at this than we are. Find your own monsters to kill. Nightingale didn't argue, glaring at his retreating back. She grunted and made her way back to camp. Red Revealer. The party gains 5 points on their masquerade. Continue to sleep tight, page 14. So we do get 5 points for it. So our grade is now at 44. Sleep tight. The little room heated much better than the vast chamber from the night before, and soon enough they were all toasty around the fire. I'm not really sure what I'll do when I graduate, Rook said. My family probably wants me to come home, but after everything I've seen, I couldn't just go back to farm. What, you don't like farming? A little cloud floated around Zeke. He hadn't put down his cigarette since finishing his meal. Rook shrugged. Nothing wrong with farming. My parents are good people, and they do important work. We're not getting any older anymore, and I'm no Cincinnatus. Sorry, I can't pronounce that. I think if I had stayed on a farm for eternity, I'd go insane. My idea of Elysium is a little less pastoral and more actually doing something. Nightingale chuckled, though she didn't have a clue who that name was. When I graduate, I'm going to join the Demiurge, Elenia's special forces. Every day is an adventure after that. Why don't you join too, Rook? Her smile widened. I've got a friend who's already in. I'm sure he could put in a good word for you. We'll see, Rook said dismissively. I don't want to farm, but I know my parents expect me to come home. I don't want to disappoint them. Farming is so lame. We all have our roles, Rook said. There were a few moments of silence then, as each waited for the others to speak. Nightingale turned slightly to look at Remy. What about you? Do you have crushing familiar expectations too? Remy looked away, shifting uncomfortably. I don't really know. They waited, but Remy didn't elaborate. We shouldn't give up adventuring after this, Nightingale declared. If we're here, we might as well enjoy Middara's advantages. We could live forever, exploring the ancient ruins, rescuing artifacts of unimaginable power, saving the world. Zeke cleared his throat. As lame as farming is, I bet there are more old farmers than old adventurers. Corn doesn't try to eat you, monsters do. They could try. Nightingale flexed her thin arms. Have you seen these guns? Yeah, we'll see. Zeke rolled his eyes. There's still one more day left in the MAST. Plenty of time to find something big and hungry enough. They probably have to eat 5 of you to fill up, though. Or 1 Rook, Remy said. Rest came easier the second night, though Nightingale awoke a little sore from all the walking and fighting. They didn't stay long, another breakfast of trail rations, and it was back to the cave for their last day of the MAST. She couldn't wait for the next fight, but the passage in front of them seemed rough and unfinished. Confused, Nightingale glanced around the cavernous chamber. That's strange. Nightingale kept walking forward. I don't see a bellicose cube. You think we're done already? No, Rook said flatly. Every team has to go through the gauntlets, and we haven't got there yet. Nightingale skipped further into the darkness, searching for their next challenge. Wait, Rook called, gesturing to a pile of rubble near one wall. He hurried over, glancing over the crushed remains of a silver basin. We better be careful. Looks like something happened to the cube. Nightingale screamed, cutting him off. Rook spun, staring down at the hall in horror. A massive stone figure charged straight at Nightingale, trailing bits of broken stone. Before Rook could move, it smashed into Nightingale with a stone fist, sending her spinning across the floor. The creature advanced on her, threatening to crush her beneath its massive weight. Nightingale lifted her weapon in a futile attempt to frighten it away. Rook charged across the room, smashing his shoulder into the creature's back. It knocked it aside, moments before its massive stone arms came down around Nightingale. Rook pulled at Nightingale's shirt, yanking her to her feet as the monster began to rise again. Run! There's no cube. It could really kill us. Yeah, Nightingale gasped. Together they ran, back the way they came. Eventually they came to a stop, panting heavily. That was exhilarating, Nightingale said, wiping the dirt and slime off her hands. Exhilarating? Remy caught up to them nearby, recuperating from the sprint. That thing could have killed you. Nightingale nodded. What was that thing, anyway? I think it was an Earth Loa. I wonder if it crushed the cube before we got there, Rook muttered. Nightingale burst out laughing. I just realized. You saved a princess in distress. So cliché. I guess I did, Rook grinned back. Don't tell my parents. Thanks to you, Nightingale walked up beside him, and her hand shook a little as she slapped him on the back. I should have noticed that wasn't just a pile of rock. Rook relaxed. No big deal. That's why you never adventure alone. Zeke approached, lit cigarette in hand. Good work, Rook. Let's try not to let that happen again. Nightingale nodded, and the group made their way into the dark. Now, what's funny is Earth Loas can't be moved. So, Rook is such a badass that he was able to shoulder tackle an Earth Loa and actually make it move. Anyway, Sleep Tight continued. They continued on for what felt like hours. Nightingale purposely stayed at the front, determined to prove she wasn't afraid. Eventually, she heard something from up ahead. "Hey, I hear voices!" Remy hurried along beside her. "You think we made it to the end?" Rook shook his head. We have to do that gauntlet first. That's always how the MAST ends. They emerged in a vast cavern packed with other students. There were lots of little wounds and hasty bandages, but also breaks and untreated gashes and tears. One young man kept himself standing only with the aid of a makeshift splint and a walking stick, while another group had one of its members resting between them badly wounded. Zeke pointed towards the front of the room, where a group of uniformed proctors waited by the door. "Let's see what's up," he muttered, striding purposely towards the front of the room. The men standing by the door all nodded respectfully to them. Lord Zhang, Princess Arson, and spindly proctor with white hair stepped forward to address them. "Glad you make it." Let's see. "What's going on?" Zeke gestured behind them at the crowd. "Sorry, I lost my place for a second." The professor lowered his head deferentially. "You reached the gauntlet. Each team must survive the same section of the dungeon, so you are sent through one at a time. If you like your team moved ahead of the queue..." "No," Zeke snapped. "We'll wait our turn with everyone else." They left without another word, quickly finding Rook and Remy. "You were right, it's the gauntlet." Rook nodded satisfied. "It was in the study guide." "What is? They don't expect us to share a glove, right?" Remy asked, chuckling to herself. Nobody laughed. "It's different for every graduating class, so it's hard to be sure. It's the thing they wanted us to be prepared for most. The gauntlet is the same for everyone, so every graduate will be ready for..." He shrugged. "Whatever. It's usually the hardest part." After what we've been through," Nightingale gave Remy an encouraging pat. "I'm sure it'll be nothing. We've got this. 2 years of lectures, 2 years of weapon practice, and learning magic." She looked up as the heavy oak door opened and another team was ushered inside. "That's our ticket to the outside world, to citizenship. To the demigod," she thought. Eventually the white-haired proctor approached them. "We're ready for you, Prince and Princess." "We're ready," Nightingale answered before any of the others could object. "Let's do this." Tip, Middara lore. Want to know more about the world of Middara? Check out www.succubuspublishing.com or for lore and background info. There's also a Succubus Publishing YouTube channel where Nyx will pretty much tell you all about the Middara lore. Anyway, continue the Gauntlet Chamber 1, page 16. The Gauntlet Chamber 1. As you enter the double doors that lead to the Gauntlet, you are surprised to find a serene chamber with a large pool of water inside. The water begins swirling at first, and then it slowly rises and takes shape. It forms into 2 female figures. They stare at you with glowing eyes. After a moment, the monsters scream, summoning balls of glowing water in their hands. The setup. It is all this stuff here. There's some long obstructing terrain. There's actual totems this time. There's a blue exit. And there are 2 Water Loas. Win condition. An adventurer ends their turn on the blue exit. Lose condition. All adventurers are defeated. Special encounter rules. Same thing as before. This time it's not specific. It's just every combatant we kill is 2 points, and every defeated adventurer is -5. Alright, so with that, I'm going to go ahead and do load page. Zoom. There we go. As you can see, it automatically set up the Water Loas for us, and we're all set up on that. So the only thing we need to do is set up the initiative. That's a Gavaden. Zeke, Nightingale, Rook, Remy, Water Loa. And then for the Water Loa, we're going to need purple, teal, and white. We'll need a second purple and a teal. That should be it. Yeah, we don't need anything else. At least not yet. Alright. So first things first, let's go ahead and read up on what our opponents are so far. Water Loas. They have purple die for combat dice, which are the lowest. They have 12 health, 9 defense, 6 movement, 0 armor. They're intelligent, no other special traits. Passive ability, H2O. Water Loa has Arcane and Melusa. The Water Loa is not affected by water terrain and may never choose to leave it. When the Water Loa affects an opponent with a spell or hits an opponent with an attack, place a water token on the space the target occupies. So this thing stays in water, and it spreads water all over the place, which means essentially you're going to have difficulty moving around, and you won't be able to dodge while you're in water. And then the following things, is there a figure within SOI with an effect? It will remove a negative effect from an ally, or it will remove a positive effect from an opponent. So effects, remember, are squares. So it'll remove things like Condemn, Courage, Darkness, Poison, etc. It will not remove things like the heal tokens. Is there more than one opponent adjacent? Essentially, it will make an attack against the opponent with the most damage, and then it puts water all around it, and then it moves away. Is there an opponent within SOI? If there is, it casts a spell. It's spell 6, prioritizing the opponent with the lowest conviction. It rolls a white die for its casting, so it's even better than Nightingale. And it deals magic damage equal to 2 plus the difference rolled on the failed conviction check. So, for example, if you get a 13 with the Water Loa and you rolled a 2, you will be taking 13 damage. From just straight magic damage from this thing. So this is what makes them dangerous. And there's 2 of them. If they gang up on you and you roll bad and they roll good, you can just get immediately destroyed by their magic. And it also specifically prioritizes people with low conviction, so it's going to specifically target things like people like Remy and Nightingale. And then the last one is, can it move and attack an opponent within range 6? And otherwise it'll do that, attack the nearest opponent. It will target somebody with the lowest total armor value. And then finally, it gets +1 to its attack roll with books, which means it actually gets accuracy instead of damage. And it has a follow-up with a starburst where it heals 2. So if it hits you, doesn't matter if it does damage, as long as it hits you and it has a starburst, it's going to heal 2. Alright, so with all that said and done, let's go ahead and position ourselves. These things are a pain to deal with. Just flat out a pain. So we should probably talk about Arcane and Elusive as well, so let's go ahead and do that. There we go. So we'll do Elusive first. It's up here. When making voluntary movement, a figure with Elusive will never provoke break attacks from opponents who are adjacent to them at the start of a turn. If the target with Elusive is pushed, pulled, or otherwise moved by an opponent's ability, they will still provoke break attacks from adjacent figures. So all that moving away it does, it will not provoke. But if we do something like do a push or something, which we can't do it anyway, then it's a fair game. And then Arcane, when making an attack against a figure with Arcane, shields, books, and starburst rolled during the attack roll are considered non-existent. So this makes things like empowering attacks completely worthless. This only applies for attacks, it does not apply to spells. Alright, so with all that said and done, let's go ahead and get our positions. So with all this water here, it's actually kind of a good idea to take advantage of jumping. So hopefully we'll be able to take advantage of jumping. Otherwise, we're just going to be slogging through this. Alright, so we got our positions, our starting characters, all that good stuff. We'll go ahead and reset the initiative track. I'm just doing a final check to make sure I didn't miss anything. I think we're okay. So reset the track. Okay, so we all go first, and then it'll be the Water Loa. So first is Remy. So for Remy, I'm going to go ahead. So as long as we're not within SOI, we won't get hit with magic. And then anything else, it'll just try to hit us with a ranged attack. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I'm just recounting to make sure. Alright, and that was it for her movement. I'm not going to do anything additional right now. With all the fortitudes and stuff, I could technically reach this with them with flying, but then I would be really, really screwed. So we're just going to keep our distance. Next is going to be Nightingale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. She'll just hang out here. We're still outside SOI, so we're fine on that. So yeah, the empower that we get for attacking is going to be completely worthless and actually detrimental because we can roll skulls. But it will help for magic, and these things are actually pretty resistant to magic. They have white and a teal for their conviction. It goes to Rook next. Rook, I'll spend a stamina to move. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to put him right here. And then last will be Zeke, who's just going to move. Oops, I didn't move it all the way. There we go. Just seeing what my other options are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If I want to, I can try doing some diagonal movement. I think I am. I'm actually going to go ahead and do. I'm going to go ahead and exhaust both of these. 1, 2, 3, 4. As long as I stay outside the doom range, we should be okay. I'm actually going to go down this way with my diagonals. In fact, where was I? I was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then go diagonal here. 1, 2, yeah, and we're still out of range, and we're just not going to use the other sword right now. Okay. Now, there is a blue totem here, but thanks to the obstructing terrain, we're not going to see it for a while. Alright, goes the monster turn. So it's going to start with the red Loa first. No one's within SOI with effects. Oh, I did forget one thing to do. I'm just going to go ahead and use this mend here. Just get that started. It doesn't really matter, but just to get it out of the way. Also, I didn't use this utility core yet, but I'm going to wait for now. Alright, so no one with effects within SOI. There's no one adjacent. There's no one within SOI that she can attack, cast spells on. Can it move and attack an opponent within range 6? Yes. Move to be up to range 6 from the nearest opponent. So, and then make an attack against the opponent with the lowest total armor value. So that's going to be between Nightingale and Remy. So 1. So we want to stay as far away from these things as possible. So actually we're going to go 1, 2, 3. That should put us within range. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep. I'll put us within range of Nightingale there. That said nearest opponent, which would have been a tie. 1, 2. So we have to do the AI stuff in order, so I'm just making sure I did it right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. These are all 8s. Okay. So the way this is actually going to work is I have to move. There's a 3-way tie for the nearest opponent, and I have to move to the nearest opponent with range 6. So I actually have to go 1, 2 to get to Remy. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like that. Now I still have some movement I can spend if I want to. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to move to here. So that still put myself far away. That still puts me within 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of Remy. And then after I do the movement, it then says make a range 6 attack against the opponent with the lowest total armor value, which is going to be a tie between Remy and Nightingale. So I'm going to go ahead and make the shot there. And I'm just trying to look here. Yeah, I think this is the best option. So it's center from center. I just gotta make. I'm checking to see if I got caught here. I think I have a clear shot. If it goes through if I don't have line of sight here, I wouldn't be able to shoot it. Well, sorry, opponents will block your line of sight when it comes to ranged attacks. Allied units will not block line of sight for attacks, but they will count as shooting through difficult terrain, so that it'll give you a -1 to your attack. Alright, so it's going to attack Remy. Remy will dodge. She'll use the occult shirt. I'm just going to go ahead and roll that now. And then it's going to be 2 purple die. Looks like a total of 10, plus 2 because of the book, so a total of 12. And I rolled a shield, and I get +1 shield, so it's going to be a total of 12. Which means it does hit, but it does 0 damage. But that alone is enough to put a water tile out, because it did hit. So now I can't dodge, and I'm in water. Okay. And then it's going to go to the purple Loa, Purple Loa is going to go after nearest opponent. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's going to go one step closer to there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And it's going to shoot at Remy. Remy can't dodge because she's in water. So it's just going to be a straight die roll. Sorry, the thing is stuttering a bit. So the total is 7 plus 1 from the book is 8 is a miss. So despite not being able to evade, it's still missed. Alright, now we get to reset the initiative track. This is where it's dangerous, where the opponent goes last and they could go first next round. Which they didn't, luckily. Alright. This is where it's going to get a little dangerous. Okay, so the key thing here is I need to make sure I stop this thing from casting spells. And the best way to do that is to get next to it. So what I'm going to do with Remy here, or Nightingale here, is get my stamina. I'm going to spend 1 point on movement. I'm going to go 1, 2, and then I'm going to jump to get as far as I can. Actually, I don't need to. I can just move. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep, that's right. So I can do that. And now I'm in range of both of them. It might make me a little vulnerable to actual attacks, but I'd rather be attacked physically than be hit with magic. So, I have a bunch of points to play around with. I'm going to go ahead and attack physically first and get that out of the way. I have to roll the empower die, unfortunately, but there's not much I can do about it. So let's just go ahead and get that out of the way. So we're going to go ahead and roll. Alright, well, that's a complete miss. Don't hit it at all. And remember, I don't add any symbols to this attack because they are arcane. I'm going to go ahead and spend my last 2 stamina to go ahead and attack again. Alright, so the total is 11. These things have a defense of 9, so that's a hit for 2 damage. I didn't say which one I was targeting. I'll say the purple one. And I don't add any symbols, none at all. So that is all the damage I did with it. At this point, I'm just checking what everyone has. Okay, I'm not gonna do my ability yet, but I am gonna go ahead and use Gore Shot on the purple Water Loa. Get that out of the way. So I do get to roll the empower die. It does help in this case. So 6, 7, 8, 14 in total. Alright, so they get to roll a purple and a white. Alright, 14 versus 12. My attack goes through, so it's going to do 2 damage already, and I'm going to do another 2 by spending 2 of my health. So that's with Gore Shot. Next, I'm going to go ahead and... So this thing has 12 health. I think I'm going to go ahead and do a throwing knife and get that out of the way. Just a second, I'm getting Cat off the desk. She's been standing around. So I'm going to go ahead and do the throwing knife and roll. 7. I just rolled 7 damage on a throwing knife. I wish I had this luck on my first playthrough because I kept rolling like 1s and 2s. So that's a total of 13 wounds to that Water Loa. That is a dead Water Loa. That is a great start. It's not Swarm, so I do get to draw a card. Looks like we get... wait. I messed up. We refreshed, didn't we? That was poor doggy. Yes, we refreshed. So I actually need to get this loot back into the pile first. I apologize, I messed that up. Shuffle, now draw. Okay, I think I got the same card, so there we go. So we got 8 gold, bringing it to 43. Alright, really strong start. And this gets discarded. And that is it. I could have tried to do another swing by using Nightingale's once per encounter to get 2 more stamina, but I'm going to wait for now. Next is Rook. So Rook is going to go up to 5. And then I'm going to get him moving. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So if I spin that, it's going to give him 6 movement. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I'm going to spend 2 more stamina to get 4 extra movement. And then that'll give me 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll put me in range. Alright, and then I'm going to go ahead and take a swing. I'm not going to empower because it's not going to do anything. And we'll see what we get. 7's a miss, so nothing happens. Alright, Water Loa goes next. Water Loa is going to attack the person with the most damage, which is going to be Nightingale. Again, no positive or negative effects, so we don't need to worry about that. Most damage is Nightingale because she hurt herself. Nightingale is on land, so she can dodge. So I'm going to use the occult shirt here and roll that die. And then this thing's going to roll purple dice. That's a 12, 13, 14, 15. Good luck dodging that. So that was 15. I have a bonus shield from the occult shirt. That brings me to 12. So this is going to do 3 damage. And there's the follow-up, the heal, but it hasn't taken any damage yet. So I take 3 more damage. It's going to put water tiles on everything that's not a water tile around it, or that's adjacent to it. So bye-bye water tile, or bye-bye land tile. And then move to the farthest space possible from any opponent. It's elusive, so it doesn't provoke. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Put everyone as far away as possible. Alright. Goes to Remy next. Remy is going to go spend 2 to fly. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then we'll go 8 here. So I have to spend an additional stamina to get the extra movement that we need to get in range. Good news is we'll be in melee range, so it's not going to cast any magic. We don't have line of sight with the totem because of obstructing terrain. And I'm going to go ahead and take a swing at this thing. So it's going to be War Axe. The bonus attack damage that we get from Hammer Helm is not a symbol, so it will count in this case. Alright, that's 13. These things have a 9 defense, so it's going to do 4 damage, 5 damage because of the Hammer Helm. So pretty strong start. That's 5 damage. No complaints there. And that was the last of my stamina, by the way. I could use some MF Fortitudes, I think, and try to go straight for the kill. Do I want to, though? No, not yet. I'm not at the point where I need to use it. So let's go with, go to Zeke next. So Zeke will go to 5 stamina. His sword will refresh. And what we're going to do here is I'm trying to see how I can do this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I can do that. So I'll spend a point on movement. It's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then it's going to do a diagonal movement. Good to go. And then one more diagonal movement, which from here is still not going to have line of sight because of the obstructing terrain there. And then I'm going to go ahead and make my attack with my short swords. It's going to be 2 white die. 7 is a miss. I'm going to go ahead and use Blade Works because I have that and do another attack. That is 9. That's a hit, but I'm going to do 0 damage because it has 9 defense. And then I'll spend my last 2 stamina. That is 12. That's a hit, and it's going to do 3 damage. Putting it at 8. So it's got 4 health left. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and let it pass turn. Alright, Rook goes first. Rook is going to go ahead and I'll wait for now. I don't need to heal immediately. kind of have control here. Bad news is he can't really get anywhere. You know what? I will go ahead and use the heal now. So go ahead and get you back to full. Alright, and then I'll spend a move, stamina to move. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's pretty much it for him. Alright, goes to Nightingale next. Nightingale's going to go to 3 stamina. Refresh Gore Shot. Alright. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to go ahead and try to hit it with a Gore Shot first. Alright, no books, so it's just going to be a straight 11, it looks like. 11 versus 11, so it wins. So Gore Shot does not connect. So I only got 5 here, plus 6 is 11. So yeah, can't do anything with that. Alright, let's go ahead and spend a point to move. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm just going to stand, I'll stay out of water for now. Alright. Well, actually, let's see. It was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, it won't. There's no way I don't have enough movement to actually jump. Alright. That was Nightingale. Goes to Zeke. Zeke will get his stuff refreshed. Alright. I'm going to go ahead and use Blade Works first. Make my attack. Don't mind the 5 there. Alright, I'll use the short sword to reroll the 3. I'll use the short sword to reroll the 3. Okay, well that's a miss, and then I'll spend 2 stamina to attack again. 9 is a hit, but it's going to do 0 damage, because I don't get to add symbols. I'm going to go ahead and flip the utility core and grab whatever I can get. And throwing knives. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and put that there. I'm going to go ahead and... just got throwing knives. I kind of want to hold on to him at this point. We kind of have good control of the fight right now. So yeah, I'm going to hold on to it for right now. And just see what happens instead. In fact, I'm going to keep the juice box out just for healing. Alright, I'm going to just hold on to the last skill point and not worry about that. It's going to go to Water Loa. Water Loa is going to attack opponent with the most damage. The tie between Zeke and Remy. Zeke is further up on the initiative, so it's going to attack Zeke. Zeke can't dodge because of because he's in water. Anything else of note? I'm just checking. Yeah, it specifically says target the person with the most damage, so it doesn't care about armor in this case. Roll this. 2, 5, 8 in total because of the book. It's a miss. So that is it for that. It's then going to put water everywhere and then move. It's going to move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way here. It's then going to go to Remy. So what Remy's going to do is going to go ahead and fly. 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, I don't really need to fly. I can actually do it just for normal movement and spending an extra point, but I'm going to fly to here. And then I'm going to go ahead and drink one of these to get a stamina point back. So I have 2 stamina now. And then I'll spend both to attack. Oh, also with the miss, I could have countered, actually. I could have countered with Zeke. But I forgot. Just because you're not dodging doesn't mean you can't. Oh, actually, no, I can't. I couldn't counter with Zeke because it would have cost 2 stamina to counter because he didn't dodge. So, something to remember. Alright, yeah. So, I just rolled the dice there, so that was 12. It's going to do 5 damage, it looks like. And that is it. That should be enough to kill it. Let me check one thing, though. Okay, I just wanted to confirm that I actually rolled the dice for it, which I did. The previous roll was actually a 7 and 6. So, alright. So I did get the kill. It would have been 12 in total, so it would have been 3 damage, 4 damage from the Hammer Helm. So I think I said 5 earlier. That's not correct. It was 4, which is still enough to kill, just barely. So that finishes off the other Water Loa. We go ahead and draw another card. Six gold there. Alright. And that is it for Remy. That's going to go to new round. I don't have to worry about urgency tokens yet because we actually fought already. It goes to Zeke. So Zeke's going to go to 4. I'm going to spend a movement to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I'll spend an extra to go to the extra 2. 1, and that's enough to see at this point. So let's go ahead and reveal the blue totem. Oh, here's some tips, by the way. Some combatants have special defenses that make hurting them even more difficult. For example, Water Loas have Arcane ability. This ability effectively removes all symbol rolled on an attack made against them. Remember, though, spells aren't attacks, and they aren't subjected to Arcane. While Water Loa might be hard to affect with spells, his spell will circumvent this special defense entirely. Alright. As you peek around the corner, you see a chest. Place the blue token on the west side of this totem. Unfortunately, your joy is cut short as you hear clicking and chattering from the far side of the cave. Spawn 2 Cave Sickles on any unoccupied space on the east side of tile UM15, which is all the way up here. So I'll grab that. I'll grab the blue loot token real quick. It says to put it on the west side of this blue totem, so I will. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so I still have some movement left. I think I have 1 point of movement left. We need to grab the Cave Sickle. Some health thingies. And then we need to grab their initiative. Cave Sickle 1 through 3. It's going to be after Zeke. And then we need some figures. We need just 2. And it has to be anywhere along the east side of tile UM15, which is this tile here. I want to do it like this. Yep, that works. Alright. And then it's going to go... I still have a point of movement because I was here. It goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then I spent a stamina to get extra movement. So 1, and then 1 more. But honestly, I don't really need to. I'm just going to stop here, and then use the short sword to go ahead and move diagonally 1. And then I'm going to spend an action to loot this blue loot token. Inside the small box, you find 2 random consumables. In addition, stuck to the bottom is a large coin. The proctor will be interested in this. Gain 5 bonus points. So that's going to put us at 49 points. Oh, also I did get confirmation while I was checking things. I went ahead and checked Discord. I did get a response. It says the same turn for the aggro token. So I will go off of that from now on. But like I mentioned before, it would have been to my advantage if we had forced that thing to move forward. Anyway, 2 random consumables. So shuffle, draw, and draw. Okay, so we got a new consumable to look at, so we will look at that. This will go here. Ubiquitous Plank. You discard it, and then you do one of the following. You can deal purple physical damage to an adjacent opponent, so it's like a melee throwing knife. You can place a plank token on any adjacent space, so essentially you get to place one of these fancy plank tokens, and it will essentially act as normal terrain. So it's really, really useful because it's one of the few ways you can change terrain. Or you can discard to reduce physical damage dealt to you by 2. Pretty handy. I'm going to go ahead and put that there. Zeke is completely full in inventory, so I definitely need to get him. I definitely need to get someone next to him and grab some of those items. Anyway, goes to... that was it for Zeke, so it's now going to go to Cave Sickles. The red Cave Sickle has 2 opponents within range 4. It just says attack 4. It's going to go after the person furthest along in the initiative, which is actually Rook. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it's going to go here. So let's attack Rook. Rook can't dodge because he's in water. We have one nearby Cave Sickle, so it's going to be a red, an orange, and a white. And just to make sure, yeah, it's just 2 Cave Sickles here. Roll dice. Total of 11, which is going to hit, and then plus 1 physical damage for every shield, so 13 in total. Minus 10 because of the defense, then minus 3 because of the armor, so 0 damage in total. Alright, and then after it does its ranged attack, it's going to move to be adjacent to opponent with the most damage within movement range. Everyone's a tie. The only person further up, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so it's going to be a tie between Rook and Nightingale. It's going to go after the person with the further up along the initiative, so it's going to go to Rook. 1, 2, 3. And it's going to attack Rook again. I'm still within range of getting the benefit from Hive Mind. 15 in total. And this one's going to do... see, it's 15, 16, 17, 18. So 18 in total, minus 10 brings it down to 8. Minus 3 brings it down to 5. So he's going to take 5 damage. Instead, I'm going to use this one spare encounter ability to ignore all physical damage dealt. So I'm going to go ahead and use that. Alright. Now, I've reduced the physical damage dealt to me to 0 at this point. So that means I can actually counter, as long as I have the points to spend, which I do. Now, it's important to counter because when you counter, you immediately end the attack, which means that follow-ups do not apply. If I let this attack continue, it's going to do follow-up poison, and I have to resist it. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to spend my remaining 2 stamina and counter. I'm also going to go ahead and empower it, because I can. Alright, and attack. So that's 13, which is a hit, and then it's going to be 2 damage because these things have 8 defense. And it's going to be every 2 shields is 2 physical damage. So I'm at 2 right now, 4, 6, and then the Starburst will bring it up to 7. So that's going to kill that Cave Sickle. Alright. So if I had chosen to take in the 5 damage, I would not have been able to counter, because you can only counter attacks that have done 0 damage. But since I negated it all, thanks to the Cuirass here, I'm good to go. Now, the other one's going to attack next. Same target, it's going to be Rook. I can't dodge because he's in water. Also, I'm out of stamina. Only 2 white dice, 11. So that's a hit, and then it looks like it's 3 shields here. So it's going to be a total of 14, which means it's going to do minus 10. It's going to be down to 4. I have 3 armor, so it's going to do 1 damage. And then it's going to move to be adjacent and make another attack with the follow-up. And 6 is a miss, and I can't counter. And that is it. That takes care of the Cave Sickles. It's going to go to Remy next. Remy is actually going to go ahead and move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to go ahead and spend an action, a stamina point to re-equip. And essentially I'm just going to take some things from him. I'll take a juice box, another juice box. We'll take a juice box, I'll move this here, and I'll take a throwing knife. Alright, I'll give him some room so I can actually use this mundane core next time. Alright, and that's it for her. That's going to go to Rook next. Rook is already adjacent, so that's helpful. All my other stuff is used up. I'm going to go ahead and spend 2 stamina to attack. I will empower. Alright, 9 is a hit. Unfortunately, I rolled a bunch of books. It's going to be a total of 1 damage from the attack itself, and then 2 additional damage from shield, so 3 damage in total to the remaining Cave Sickle. So, it's still alive, it has 6 health. That's it for Rook. Goes to Nightingale last. Nightingale goes to here. Goes to there. I'm going to go ahead and spend a movement point. or stamina point to go ahead and move. 1, 2. Or 1, 2, 3 rather. Then spend 2 to attack. Rolling all of this because I have to empower. Alright, so 8 is exactly enough to hit. So right now it's at 0 damage. I have only 1 shield, so nothing from that. And then every 2 spellbooks gives me +1 magic damage. So that's a total of 2 magic damage to it, bringing it to 5. This thing is suffering. I'm going to go ahead and do Gore Shot next. Alright, so I rolled a 3. 1 book, so that's 4. It's going to be a total of 10. It has conviction of a purple and white. So I'm going to go ahead and roll it. I rolled 13, so it resists the spell. I'm going to go ahead and just use the last 2 stamina to attack. 7's a miss. That's terrible. I'm going to go ahead and do my once per encounter ability to get 2 stamina. The rest of the party gets 1. This fight's a little messy. Alright, and then I'll spend that 2 stamina to attack. And miss again. Alright. So much for that Nightingale. She's still a bit shaky from the Earth Loa. Alright. Reset initiative. Alright, Remy goes first. Goes to 5. I'm going to go ahead and spend 2 to fly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then I'll spend an additional 1 to move 2 more. And then I'll use the last 2 to attack. No empowering. Alright, 13. Or sorry, not 13. 11. Minus 8 is 3. Plus 1 from the hammer helm is 4. And then 5, 6, 7 from the it's enough to kill. Needless to say. Completely splats it. I'll go ahead and shuffle and draw. 8 gold. At least we're getting a lot of gold. That puts us at 57. Okay. That's it for Remy. There are no Cave Sickles on the board. And then it goes to Nightingale. Nightingale's going to get 3 stamina. I'm going to spend 1 to re-equip. Yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and re-equip. Just to get this on here. And I'm going to go ahead and spend a point to move. Can I get to the exit? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, there's no way. So, actually, I'm not going to even bother moving. Alright, goes to Zeke next. Alright, so this is what Zeke's going to do. Zeke is going to go ahead and spend to move. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then spend the extra. 6, 7, 8, 9. And then use that. Diagonal, or I actually can't. Wait. Let's look this over. So I was here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I spent an extra 6, 7, 8, 9. Alright. I would need to spend 1 more. Or 2 more, actually. And it'll put me here, and then I can move diagonally. Either way, I'm going to get to the end. Let's just put it simply. Rook would have made it to the end otherwise. It doesn't really matter. So, we make it to the exit. Reward is none, which means there are no refreshes. Which means we do keep this heal token. We still go back up to 3 here. These once per encounters do get reset. That resets. That resets. No, we do not heal unless we're down to to below half, essentially. And technically, this will flip still as part of the ability, but it's at the start of the next encounter. All right. And with that, let's go ahead and it just says go to Gauntlet Chamber 2, page 18. Also, we need to note how many combatants we killed. We killed 2 Water Loas and we killed 2 Cave Sickles for a total of 8. So that puts us at 57. Okay. Good to go on that front. And we're now going to be in the Gauntlet Chamber 2. Did I actually read the Gauntlet Chamber 1? Yes, we did. A sense of relief washes over you as the waist-deep water comes to an end up ahead. Your glowstones shed their light on what the proctors have prepared for you. A Water Loa moves nearby, and you can see the faint images of Cave Sickle surrounding a wooden box on the shore. On the far side of the pool, two dark silhouettes rise and fall slowly. A pair of Gavadins sleep beneath a lever protruding from the wall. There's a large message posted next to it, barely visible in the dim light. Don't pull. So, as you can see the map here, this is a bit bigger, to say the least. There's a lot of stuff going on here. And there's a tip here. Multiple encounters. Often encounters will occur consecutively and simply instruct the player to continue to the next encounter. In these cases, adventurers are usually not instructed to restore. This means that players will have to manage the resources intelligently, since they won't be able to unflip cards or fully heal until they are instructed to restore. The nice thing, though, is Min does refresh, and you can have up to 4 heal tokens. So we have a heal token that's carried over, and we can get another to this encounter. So we get to play with that. Alright, any other tips that we need to know? No. Alright, so with that, I'm going to go ahead and clear the page here. There we go. Alright. And I'm going to go ahead and call this a video. I am The Depressed Eel, and this was Middara. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys next time.